Hi friends, ha ha ha, you'll get that joke in a second. And welcome to Is This Really for Kids? A podcast where I, your host, TheaTouchton, decide is children's media really for children. I'm qualified to do that because I am a childhood trauma survivor and I make my own movies. And also, why not just do things, you know? Why not just say you're trying to do something and then go do it, because then you become an expert by doing. Everybody has got to start somewhere. And this is season 2 and I've done like 20 plus episodes at this point, so I'm qualified, sorta. Obviously there's always more qualified people, but I'm still here. I'm still in the running. Anyway, we're doing Ouija, Origin of Evil, which is the prequel to the Ouija movie that I just did previously. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. You can pretty much check it out after or before, because this is a prequel, and I guess it gives away some of the ending of the other one, but sort of not really. It's in a different timeline. In fact, we are in 1967 Los Angeles, and we've got a widow named Alice who's working out of her home as a spiritual medium, being helped by her daughters, who are 15, Paulina, who was in the mental hospital of the other one, and 9-year-old Doris. But they stage their seances because Alice just wants to help people move on from grief, which, valid, you know, very, very valid. Their family is still dealing with their death of Roger, who was Alice's husband, and the kid's father. And beforehand, they used to do candles where they would say, you have 3 questions. If it burns, it's a yes. If it blows out, it's a no. And Alice gets the suggestion that she should incorporate the Ouija board into her readings, but she accidentally contacts this spirit named Marcus, who possesses Doris, and she ends the game with saying goodbye, which is bad, because let's go over the rules of a Ouija again. Never play in a graveyard, never play alone, and always say goodbye. So, who knows? Oh, it makes me so nervous. In the last podcast, I tell this story about how when my boyfriend and I played the one time, we didn't say goodbye, but then we took it out immediately to say goodbye after. We didn't know the rules. I don't think it even comes with like a how to use it or says those rules, but hopefully none of us are possessed. Maybe that's why Marcy is so evil. But she wasn't even there in the room at that time. She's on the podcast. One day I'm going to do podcasts with her, but we'll keep her out of this one for now, because Marcy loves when people get killed. She thinks that horror movies are like comedies to her. Good time. It's very funny. I laugh. Marcy, I said I didn't want you on the podcast. I don't want to be on the podcast. I just want to laugh at the movies and see people die. That's fun for me. Yeah, and then we're giving this person a TV show, so that's great. Anyway, they're praying to their dad when he's dead, and a lot of people think that their whole mom thing is a scam, and the kids get made fun of school for being a witch, and Paulina's boyfriend isn't made to feel very welcome. The mom says that, you know, like, he'll be shot if she touches the daughter. You know, it's a different time. They don't really, well, it is the 70s, so they were wanting free sex, but not everybody was thinking that way, right? Because we came from a very oppressed decade. A little bit further, I love when they say hi friend, like my good old friend Casey Weaver, an amazing person. And already this movie is step eons above the other one. Like the Haunting of Hill House guy, he's a genius. I would love to work with him. I think he's got something, and he does this thing with Ghost, and like there are like little circles in the corner, like a VHS tape, that give it this like retro feel. And it's just like, but it also like is kind of ghostly and disturbing, and it's just wonderful. He does so many innovative things as a filmmaker. I'm honestly in awe and very inspired by him. Totally amazing. They also did a really great job with casting. They have like the same nose, but yeah, 100% better than the first one. When poor Doris gets possessed, this like scary all black charred demon flies into her, and her like neck hurts, and that's very frightening. I don't love that. I would not want that to happen. And she starts acting really weird, like her neck will hurt. She starts speaking scary things in ears. And I felt like the first one, there were like a little moments of like tenseness, but it wasn't as like, I mean, like this one is like creepy, scary, terrifying, like really, really horrifyingly. You know, like it's hard to watch. Could not watch it alone. Like the Ouija board, I do not recommend watching these movies alone. But yeah, Doris can also write in fluent Polish, a language she does not know, which is not great. And she can, like, make mouth disappears and, like, seals up. And she makes boys that had slingshotted herself. She, like, talks about strangling Paulina's boyfriend. She's got this, like, messed up doll, and there's just so many great creepy TV shots, and it's just impeccable. Like I said, this director. But anyway, so finding that note, Paulina goes to Father Tom, and Father wanted to contact his dead wife, Gloria. The way that an Ouija thing moves, too, is just, it's so creepy. Just frightening, just haunting, you know, just totally haunting. And anyway, so they go through the session. It seems like it's pretty successful. You know, they tell him not to hide behind his little priest collar. But the older sister, Paulina, is just kind of, she knows that something is, like, weird in the session. When it seems like it was successful, but then the mom thinks it's so beautiful. But Father Tom explains to the mom and Linnea that Doris did not contact Gloria. For every question he asked, she had read his thoughts and repeated the answers that he was thinking in his mind. And she says, and he also reveals that the pages were written by this Polish immigrant named Marcus, who was taken captive during World War II by a sadistic doctor who conducted experiments on him and other captives inside the house's basement. What a terrible place to live. It's just, like, wild to think that our land has so much history and blood on it, and that we walk around with those things in our air. You know what I mean? Like, we stole land from natives, we killed native people. I mean, collectively, I guess, because I didn't personally do that, but, you know, in the line, humanity has killed other humanity people, and their bones rest beneath the earth, right? All of these animals rest beneath the earth. Like, it's just, like, a terrifying thought sometimes to think about, but an existential crisis that I often have. And these spirits know the answers that the dad would know because they've been watching the family the entire time since the day that they moved in, which is also very creepy to think that you're being watched by spirits so that they can know the answers. Like, a spirit right now can know the password to all of your accounts. You know, that's messed up and creepy. So the boyfriend does not survive the strangle threat. Doris ends up killing him and hangs his body, which is very, very not great, you know, not very great for your little sister to kill your boyfriend. I'm surprised that, spoilers if you haven't seen the first one or listened to my first episode on it. Also, though, don't watch, like, a movie review if you haven't read the movie. That's, like, just a bit silly, to me. But it is interesting that, like, Doris, like, tortured, basically, Paulina her whole time, kills her boyfriend, and then she still helps her in the first one. A bit wild. So they realize that there is a treasure in the walls, and they burn the Ouija board downstairs first. You know, you gotta take care of that, because that was not ideal. And Father Tom discovers that there's, like, skeletal remains in the basement wall, and they realize that they've broken one of the rules, because when you're using a Ouija board and there's a body, you've been using a Ouija board in a graveyard this entire time, which also explains in the first movie why things were happening the way that they were, because they were also there was a body buried in the secret room, and so they were using the board in a graveyard at all times. So I guess the whole matter is, like, never use a Ouija, because you never know if there is a secret graveyard somewhere in your midst, you know? And so not ideal. When the neck snaps around, that's crazy. The whispers in the ear are super scary. The fact that she hung her boyfriend and says that she's gonna go for the sister. Finding all of the good bones in there. They were, like, super interesting bones. The E.T. guy is in here, and this guy, he loves that guy. He always uses him in all of his projects. It's a bit wild. My boyfriend hates that guy's acting, and it's very interesting because I remember, and I haven't reviewed E.T. yet. It's on the list. Don't worry, I will get to it. But in E.T., I thought he was so good, and I saw his, like, audition tape and, like, cried. I thought his acting was so good, and it was so, like, moving. Also, I was very emotional because I was on, like, steroids for my eye and was very tired and stuff, but that, like, was super cool. But in the previous acting I've seen with the E.T. guy, he's not amazing, you know? He doesn't wow me as much as he used to when he was younger. So anyway, Tom finds the secret room where the experiments were conducted, but then he gets possessed by the spirits. the way she like flies at him is really terrible, and it dies, and it's just like this creepy version of her, and it's this scary like multiple voices and just a bit of a mess. And so there's these scary like multiple voices which always mess with me, and they go like, she's a better vessel and they're gonna take the spirit's gonna take all of them, which is just awful. So Father Tom now tries to attack Alice and Linnea, and he seizes clarity because he's got that priesthood behind him and the power of God, and unfortunately it's not enough. It never seems to be, and which is sad. And then he gets killed by Doris, and then Alice gets captured, but Roger's spirit, their dad, carries Linnea to the bed, and Linnea wakes up and realizes that when her doll's mouth was like stitched shut, it was her father's spirit trying to say to shut out the spirit voices. And so she realizes that she has to sew Doris's mouth shut to quiet the spirit voices and stop the evil. I also feel really bad that her dad's ghost lives in this dark and cold, and basically he just tells, you know, her to like cut the spirits away because they're all gonna crawl on her and be awful. So she successfully sews her sister's mouth shut, a terrible thing to have to do, so traumatic. And Doris dies reuniting with her father. But unfortunately, after that, she stabs her mom because she gets possessed, because when she was cutting the spirits away, they all crawled on her because she had killed Doris, you know, trying to stop the voices. And so they just went to the next thing because things are evil and they know no bounds and somehow have endless energy, because I guess when you're good, you get tired, or at least that's how I feel. And then she stabs her own mom, which super, super traumatic, really, really sad, really, really unfortunate. Not something I personally would ever want to do to a family member, let alone my mom, despite it all. And Alice, when she's dying, the mom sees her husband and her daughter together and happily joins them and is leaving behind a sobbing Linnea, but the mom lets her know, you know, like she knows that it wasn't her fault. She was possessed by evil. So then, unfortunately, poor Paulina gets committed in a mental hospital because she murdered her mother, and she just can't say what happened to Doris' body, but she says that she will never be alone again, and she makes this DIY Ouija board in blood in the insane asylum, and she tries to summon her sister inside her cell, and the doctor watches, not knowing that like the possessed Doris skitters across the ceiling towards him. And then they flash to the present, which is the first Ouija, where it is somebody claiming to be her niece to get to see her, to get answers in the first one, and thus setting up everything from there. But yeah, honestly, what a good film. The Haunting of Hill House director does it again. Just a sensation. Living the dream life with that Netflix deal. Basically anything he wants. And like Midnight Mass was so good. I will definitely be reviewing that on my YouTube channel. Just insanely amazing. And yeah, so that was a Ouija. I'm done with those two for the most part. Unless they make another Ouija movie and it has kids in it, I'm coming back again. Here we go, you know? But yeah, what did you guys think? About this movie? Did you agree that it's better? Did you like it? Were you still like, man, not scary enough for me? I think this movie was honestly very terrifying, but I am the biggest chicken ever. Bark, bark. That's me. That's how I communicate to everyone. But yeah, I really liked it. Definitely, I would say for an older teenager crowd, don't know if I would let my little one watch this unless you felt that they were very, very mature, and that's just something you do. Like, I think every child is different, and I don't know, you know, what the young generation is doing nowadays, what they're capable of. They amaze me every day. And yeah, again, I'm trying to get rid of my Ouija board, so if you could please donate to the links below, that would mean a lot, because that way I can get rid of it. Hopefully it doesn't come back, but that would be terrifying. I'll let you know if that happens though. But yeah, I just need a little bit of money, just probably like $5,000 to make this one thing happen. It's a very short sketch about like why yeah, it's just a short sketch about why I believe Apple Tech phone calls take so long and what they're doing. And if you want to learn the twist of all of that and see that and help support my horror filmmaking journey so that I can learn some cool horror filmmaking tricks, the links to donate are below. Would really appreciate that. And yeah, let me know how you're liking the season. I can't get better if I'm not told. And yeah, let me know things you didn't like. Let me know how you're doing. Good to have community. Good to check in. And yeah, don't play Ouija alone. Don't play it in the graveyard. And always say goodbye, right? Always say goodbye. Also, maybe just don't even have it. And I guess don't try to burn it because that just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It doesn't seem to help, unfortunately. So yeah, have a great one. So appreciative of all of my listeners and fans. And yeah, let me know if there's any other films you ever want me to review. I can always try to make them top priority and get on to it. And I'll see you on the next episode of Is This Really for Kids? Also, it would be such a blessing if you could follow all my social media, check out all of the articles, all of that stuff helps, and I really appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye.